This episode is brought to you by the Denver Art Museum. Kick off 2026 with an unforgettable night at the Denver Art Museum's first Untitled Artist Takeover event of the year, happening on Friday, January 30th from 6 to 10 p.m. Experience a vibrant night of art, performances, hands-on art making, a pop-up bar, and unique experiences led by local artists Tia Elisa Anthony and Ana Luna, and a whole host of contributing creatives. Untitled Artist Takeover is included in general admission and free for Denver Art Museum members. Reserve your tickets today at denverartmuseum.org. That's denverartmuseum.org. Today on CityCast Denver, federal agents killed another protester in Minneapolis over the weekend, and Denverites are reeling. So what's the state of the immigration crackdown here in Colorado? Producer Paul Caroli and I talk about the latest, plus some good news. Today is Tuesday, January 27th. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
It's cold. That's all I have.
Cold indeed.
All I have to report. I was just complaining to you about my office not being insulated, but you know,
It's supposed to get warmer this week.
it looks like it already, which is good. So, here's to that.
Yeah, up to 56 next weekend. That'll be nice. Sunny.
Back to normal winterish weather here. I enjoyed the snow, at least, like seeing it was nice. The visual representation of snow was lovely.
And there's more good things on the horizon. We have a cool event coming up on Friday.
We do have a big event on Friday. We are the guests, you, me, and Olivia, on Good Night Denver. Our friends at Dude IDK Studios have this great late show hosted by Miriam Moreno. And we got asked to be guests. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I saw this show a couple months ago. It's very funny. Miriam is one of the funniest Denverites for sure.
She's so funny.
If you like the topical joke that we do on Fridays, on the beginning of the Friday show, this is like a late night show full of that. It's like and they're actually good comedians.
Yes.
Not me doing my best.
Not us pretending to be comedians. They're real ones. And so you can get tickets to that. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. We'd love to see you. Come support us. Come support Dude IDK. Come hang out in this really cool space that we get to hang out in every week. And I'm kind of secretly hoping that Miriam roasts us a little bit. So we'll see. That's what I want out of it. Well, before we get into the news here, I think it's obviously relevant and important to talk about what happened in Minneapolis over the weekend. ICE agents shot another person in Minneapolis. This gentleman's name was Alex Preddy. He was an ICU nurse at a VA hospital, and reporting has shown that he was shot 10 times by ICE officers, though the agent or agents have not been identified as of this recording. From what we can see from multiple video accounts, he was on the street recording interactions ICE was having with other folks around 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. He intervened when ICE threw a woman to the ground, and he continued filming with one hand, and then it looked to be he was protecting himself maybe from pepper spray with the other hand. And then ICE agents surrounded him, and he was shot 10 times. So that's what we know right now about the situation in Minneapolis. So I don't know what to do from there, Paul.
Talk about it. Yeah. What do you want to talk about with that? That's the whole breakdown. This is a horrible situation. Governor Tim Walz called it an inflection point for America. I don't know about you, but I went to sleep Saturday night and I was like, I don't know what country I'm going to wake up to in the morning. I don't know what's going to happen on the streets of Minneapolis. It was like chilling in a way. And I'm an optimist. Like, I'm generally someone who like walks back and says things, it's not so bad. Life will go on. And honestly, this day, I was having a bad day for other reasons, but this shook me. This was like, for the first time in a long time, I thought, I don't know what direction this is going. This could get really, really bad.
Yeah. I think I felt this way when Renee Good was murdered as well. And so there's just been so much picking apart of her identity. And this happens a lot when there's shootings like this, what kind of a person this was, blah, 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 and Alex being, oh man, Alex being an ICU nurse, it's a really hard job. It's a really, really difficult job. You see people in situations that are very close to death a lot. It's just a tough job. And I've read multiple just pieces, or I don't know, just statements from friends and colleagues about who he was. And again, this is not good or bad, but he was this incredible person. I mean, I don't know if you saw this video. There's a video of him reading, I think like last rites to a veteran who had passed away, and in his daily life, just a really wonderful, caring person. And the video shows that to me was someone I've seen this guy at a rally protecting somebody who's maybe getting into an interaction with law enforcement in some capacity, and just stepping in and just being like, hey, like, trying to de-escalate or film or whatever. And I don't even know what to say anymore. I have to say I'm already I've checked the news all the time. I just do. I always have been that kind of person. And I've been checking the news way too much, especially after things have been escalating with ICE across the country. And I checked my phone Saturday like I do 100 times. And I just looked at my husband. I was like, they shot another person in Minneapolis. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't have any optimism right now.
Well, I think a lot of Denverites were feeling this way. To bring it back to what we're experiencing here in Denver, there were protests on Saturday and Sunday outside the Colorado State Capitol. Again, the Sunday one did conflict with the Broncos game. So, who knows what the turnout would have been. I don't know if that would affect it that much personally. But Saturday, the reports ranged from like a few hundred to up as many as 1,000. And then I drove past on Sunday and I saw it. I would say probably like 300, 400 people out there. I would recommend following Drew Kartos. He is the protest photographer who's been out at protests all year. I talked to him a few times now since he took that great video of that Giants fan face planting during a protest a few weeks ago. He's been out at this. He was out on the weekend and he got some good shots if you want to see what those protests look like. But then the last thing is just to keep us back in Colorado, and I hate to do this, but a correction. It was not ICE agents who shot and killed Alex Preddy. It was Border Patrol, which I think is becoming like they're being conflated together a lot. I think ICE agent is the shorthand that a lot of Minneapolitans are using to describe federal immigration officers. But there actually is a distinction.
Yeah, what is I have to say I have not seen this distinction made in this so far.
Well, it's important. And if you are paying attention to which agency is doing which action, they do have different characteristics to them. Border Patrol works in border states. Like they're most famous along the Mexican border, but immigration or ICE is anywhere internal, anywhere inside the United States. They have the authority to go on and do these actions. So up in Minnesota it's near the border. But the way the Trump administration is organizing it, these lines are shifting and these agencies are operating in similar ways. And the relevant piece of that I think people should know about is back in October, when Trump was upset that his immigration crackdown wasn't going fast and hard enough, he changed who was in charge of the field office here in Colorado. It previously was an ICE officer, and that guy got moved to some office job in Virginia. He was replaced by a Border Patrol officer who I don't think has made any comments to the press yet. He hasn't done any kind of interviews. But that guy is now in charge and presumably with the purview to go harder and to do more.
Why? Like, do they have different rules around
why?
I'm just not understanding what the different. I guess all I'm on
different personnel, different people.
Okay.
Like, look at Greg Bovino. He's a Border Patrol. He's a senior Border Patrol officer. The guy walking around the streets of Minneapolis in that giant, like, I hate to make the comparison, but it's the comparison that I see everywhere is like, Third Reich style Nazi military greatcoat, this big, long green greatcoat.
It's a look.
So he's Border Patrol. He's not ICE.
Okay. Well, I guess that's good to know.
Yeah, they just have a reputation for going a little bit harder.
The Border Patrol folks.
Yes.
I did see an interview with a former Border Patrol agent, a woman who talked a lot about the brutality aspect of it when she walked away from it. And what did she say? they didn't call people people. They called them dead or alive bodies. It gave me some insight into Border Patrol. Okay, so to clarify, he was shot by Border Patrol agents in the street while he was filming.
But what else have you been seeing around Denver?
I think not the big story, but a component of this story was that his parents actually lived in Arvada for the last 8 years. Their family is originally from Illinois. And, it's like, does this matter? Does it not? I think in these kinds of moments, to me, the relevancy is just, we're just looking for other ways to connect with people and connect with the situation. And this is one of those unfortunate ways where we thought, oh gosh, this is someone from our community's family member. Same with Renee Good, had Colorado connections as well. The thing that I found really sad about this situation was that his parents did not learn about his death from law enforcement contacting them. They learned it from an Associated Press reporter reaching out for comment. So they had to learn that way. And that I just don't know I can't imagine what that feels like. But there were some really heartbreaking quotes from his family about him, and just his dad said he cared about people deeply, and he was very upset with what was happening in Minneapolis and throughout the United States with ICE, as millions of other people are upset. He thought it was terrible, kidnapping children, just grabbing people off the street. He cared about those people, and he knew it was wrong, so he did participate in protests. So there's just a small Colorado tie there, but overall, it's just a really sad weekend. This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. What can I say? I love everything that Cozy Earth makes. From their viscose from bamboo sheets to their super soft pajama sets, and of course, the famous bubble cuddle blanket that my family fights over, these folks know their fabrics. And then Cozy Earth goes and tops it all again with their Luxe bath towels. Listen, these go beyond hotel towels, beyond spa towels. These towels are so soft, my 4-year-old was convinced they were actually blankets. Like, he asked me, Mom, is this a blanket or a towel? And I was like, no, it's a towel. He was all matter of fact about it. He's like, Mom, these towels are so cozy, we can't puke on these ones. And I was like, okay. It's because these towels are crafted with a unique blend of cotton and viscose from bamboo using innovative zero-twist technology. Head to CozyEarth.com and use my code CozyDenver for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on CityCast Denver. Give the gift of comfort that lasts beyond the holidays and carries into the cozy new year. Did you know CityCast Denver has a perks program? Every week, we're highlighting some standout deals from our favorite businesses in town to help you support local and save some money. It's a win-win. Here are some highlights from this week. Check out Meow Wolf's Adultiverse Space Rodeo on January 17th and experience the worlds of Meow Wolf Denver, transformed into a 21 and up psychedelic party. Saddle up for an intergalactic adventure. Just use code GIDDYUP for $4.20 off an Adultiverse ticket. Offer available for redemption now through January 17th. Or what about Topo Designs? Just visit a Topo Designs retail store and mention this ad to receive 20% off your purchase. Some exclusions apply. Valid until February 1st. Looking for some fun? Check out Green Door and pre-order a curated cannabis box for your Denver trip. Includes edibles, snacks, and local accessories. Ready for pickup near your stay. No stress, no lines, just a better trip. Use code DenverPerk for $10 off any experience box. To see a full list of participating businesses, just visit denver.citycast.fm/perks. It's a great way to check out new restaurants, shops, and events in the Mile High City without breaking your budget. And I love that for you. Well, Paul, there's more, I guess, ice. There's more around the ice conversation happening here in Colorado. Can you talk about this story that involved, I believe it was in Glenwood Springs, these playing cards that were appearing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when I saw what happened in Minneapolis, I thought, what is actually ICE doing here? I think a lot of people are curious what ICE is doing here in Colorado. This was a pretty interesting situation for a couple of reasons, but the basic story that I read about in the Denver Post, they got it from some advocacy group, Voces Unidas. that is in Glenwood Springs, immigrant rights advocacy group, who put out a press statement and like contacted some reporters and was like, there was a situation where ICE agents set up a traffic stop between Eagle and Vale on the highway, and it just looked like a police stop. So people stopped, and ICE agents reportedly arrested 8 people who are now being detained in Aurora. Now, those people had been driving, on the highway. That's how they got there. So when they were detained, they had to leave their cars. So ICE, in some cases, left their cars literally running on the side of the highway. And when their families came to pick up those cars on the side of the highway later that day, some of them found under the windshield or like stuck on the car playing cards. All of them the ace of spades with the words ICE Denver field office and the address of the Aurora facility printed on the playing cards.
Whoa. So this is not just like a GEO detention facility business card with the address. This is a specially made playing card with this information on it.
Well, it could be both. I don't think we know exactly what they meant by it or who did this or why. Now, Alex Sanchez, the president of this group that I mentioned, his theory is very different. To him, he interpreted these playing cards in a different context entirely. I'll quote from his press release. The Ace of Spades has a long history as a tool of intimidation, from psychological warfare during the Vietnam War to its adoption by white supremacist groups to demean people of color. ICE's decision to leave this card behind after targeting Latino workers through fake traffic stops was not incidental. It was deliberate psychological harassment. And so what he's referencing is this history that goes back to Vietnam, where these U.S. soldiers, there was some article in Stars and Stripes. I mean, I'll post some links in the show notes, but these U.S. soldiers heard that the Viet Cong were very superstitious, and there were 2 things they were like afraid of or like not cool with, and it was the Ace of Spades and pictures of women, like certain pictures of women. So these soldiers saw that their Ace of Spades had a picture of Lady Liberty on it, the symbol of the United States. And so they would start leaving these Aces of Spades around where the Viet Cong could find them. And this is like, psychological warfare is how some people describe that. I also, of course, think of the Iraq War had playing cards with the kill list on them. I don't know if you remember that, but I actually had a deck of those cards. I don't know how. It's a thing that you can associate with the United States military. These playing cards, it's like a threat, like, hey, we're coming.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would feel shaken up by that too, because that doesn't feel like some cheeky thing. It feels, I don't know. I hear what this advocate is saying about those. Interesting.
I wish we had more information, but that actually gets to the other interesting piece of this. And this is the first time I have ever heard any accountability from these ICE people or Border Patrol. But in a statement to the Denver Post, an unnamed spokesperson for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security said that ICE, quote, unequivocally condemned, quote, this type of action and or officer conduct, referring to the playing cards being left on the cars. After learning about the cars, supervisors quickly stepped in to, quote, address the issue. The ICE Office of Professional Responsibility will conduct a thorough investigation and will take appropriate and swift action.
Huh. Interesting.
And I thought, one, that's accountability. But like I said, I haven't heard that about Renee Good. I haven't heard that about Alex Preddy. I haven't heard that about anything else these guys have done over the last year and change.
No, none. Absolutely none. No. Well, interesting. Interesting that information is out there. Oof. Doesn't feel good. Okay. Sorry. This is really weird. I don't know what to say about any of this, Paul.
How are you feeling about it? Talk about it. I think a lot of people are feeling this way.
I feel terrible. That feels so, like, the psychological warfare component of it, like, this is already hard enough. Just living in the world. I'm not a targeted person. I don't know what that feels like. I can't imagine going to get my family member's car and finding that and having to try to decipher what this means. It just feels so awful.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a veteran, or if I knew a veteran and I'd heard about that story, like, I'm not sure I would make that connection if I saw a playing card like that. I might think of the Iraq War thing, but obviously that's me bringing my own personal experience to it. To give them the benefit of the doubt, it could be the thing you were speculating at first. It could be that they were leaving information like, hey, this is where you can find your family member.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know why that would be the way they would do that.
My point was
there's so many questions. There's so many questions left unanswered.
My point is like, it's not just a regular business card that maybe like, I've seen police officers have given me one when I've gotten pulled over or whatever that has their information on it. This to me doesn't seem like that. This seems like there's something else deeper in it. Like, I guess I was saying was, why would you have a cheeky business card? Like, I don't know. I'm biased. I think it's weird. I think it's I absolutely agree with this gentleman at Volunidos. So, what else is going on here in Colorado when we're talking about ICE, Paul?
Well, I think some people might appreciate this next item. Coloradans are going to have a chance to vote on this. If you're feeling frustrated, you are going to be able to make your voice heard come November. There is a conservative political group named Advance Colorado that has collected enough signatures per the Secretary of State's office on Friday to put a measure on our ballot this November that, if passed, would require state and local law enforcement to work more closely with federal immigration officials.
Wow.
Now, it would amend the state constitution, so that means it would need 55% of the vote to pass. I saw this report in the Colorado Sun, by the way.
I find the timing of this interesting. I think, I don't know, when this was probably being talked about and it was being written and the conversations were happening behind the scenes, this had to be months ago. I feel like in the last month, things have maybe shifted quite a bit in terms of how people are feeling about the situation. So by the time we get to November, what's it going to look like then?
Yeah. And I know there's a lot of people legitimately like speculating seriously, like, will there be midterms?
Yeah, right.
I know we were just talking to our friend of the show, Deep Singh Badesha, about this. He was like, the Democrats should be planning for this. Yeah. Because if the poll numbers start looking bad for President Trump, he might start looking for a way out.
Yeah. Gosh, that's true.
Would he rather lose or not have elections? I don't know. Look, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. There's a long time between now and then. The poll numbers do look bad, though, and we know that President Trump does care about the poll numbers. On Friday, so before the killing, after the Renee Good killing, but before the Alex Preddy killing, New York Times Siena poll was released. This was taken after the Renee Good killing. It showed that 63% of registered voters in the United States disapprove of how ICE is handling its job, with only 36% approving. And that's across the whole country.
Wow.
We already know that Colorado is particularly opposed to Trump in general.
Yeah.
We also know that our Democrat-led legislature has taken additional steps to put in safeguards to block our local and state law enforcement from working with federal law immigration officers. So the numbers are not looking good here for this ballot measure. It's going to be an opportunity for liberals to make their voices heard on this issue, to express that frustration.
That's kind of what it feels like to me. Is like it's like I don't know why this group would be doing that, knowing all of these things, but they have some other motive, I guess.
Yeah, I'm curious about it. I would love to know what they were hoping to get out of this. I personally, if I were to predict this, I would say, I said on Friday, I thought it was going to go down 75-25. I think Coloradans are going to hate this idea. But now, after this second shooting,
is this going to be a record-setting defeat?
80-20 is not out of the question. 90. I just can't imagine. Even there's so many conservatives in Colorado that are like, think of themselves more as like the reasonable, like not so much MAGA in form, but like the throwback conservatives.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Don Quorum.
I don't think those people are super psyched about the way ICE is handling this.
Yeah.
Like, this is not.
Yeah. And this might be the proof of that. I don't know. If they need it, I guess. Man, this is probably not part of the conversation.
The other thing to watch.
Sorry.
Oh, no, go on.
I just was thinking about if Lauren Boebert had made any statements about it, just thinking about guns.
Let's check it out.
Just knowing when we were interviewing her in her home, the comment she made to you about potentially having a weapon on her at the time. But
she has not posted on X since Saturday. So
interesting. Okay.
Not sure. That is something to watch, though, what happens in Congress, because they're voting on a big funding bill this week. All of our elected representatives, Senator Hickenlooper, Senator Bennett, and Representative Diana DeGette, have all opposed. They were opposed to this Department of Homeland Security funding even before the Preddy shooting. Now it sounds like Schumer is getting ready to call for all Democrats to oppose it. So it seems like there could be a partial government shutdown coming over this funding for Department of Homeland Security and ICE and Border Patrol. I don't know. That's definitely something to watch this week.
That's what, yeah.
And then obviously what happens in Minnesota too. Trump looks at the poll numbers. We know how petty he is. We know how fickle he is. He already told the Wall Street Journal, this is the one comment I found from him after the shooting. He said his administration is, quote, reviewing everything about the incident, and that immigration enforcement will, quote, at some point leave the Minneapolis Twin Cities area.
Wow. Well, I mean, that maybe is...
It was a 5-minute phone call, apparently.
Yeah, but still, that's something. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about the letter that went out that was signed by like 60 corporations asking for ICE to back down, basically. I think this was also after the strike in Minneapolis on Friday. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of points to watch, I guess I would say. A lot of different angles of this situation to watch. But I'm definitely watching the funding bills. I think that'll be interesting to see how those votes shake out. Like you said, we know where Colorado Dems stand. See how the rest of them do. Be interesting.
And are we going to see more protests and bigger protests here in Denver? Once the weather warms up a little bit, maybe that could lead to a little bit more
I thought about that too.
Action.
I thought about that too because, I mean, we know cold. We don't know cold. Minnesotans know a cold I don't think that we ever will understand. And so I feel like they've just been better equipped to be out there. And I wondered if it got a little bit warmer, if that would change things. Like not to downplay it or say that that's like something, I don't know. Weather is weather. It impacts everything. So we could see what that means. Oh boy. Well,
can I share some good news?
Yes, please. Please.
I got this press release on Friday and I was like, oh God, I needed this. People are going to need to hear this. This is such exciting news. So we've talked in the past about how Longmont somehow has been become the pizza capital of Colorado. There's Rosalie's, which is a phenomenal pizza place, Urban Field Pizza, a great pizza place, and Antonio's Real New York style pizza, which was founded in Estes Park, but now they have a new location in Longmont. I haven't been to the new one, but I love the one in Estes Park. So these three pizza places have announced that they have founded an organization called Pizza with Purpose, a philanthropic partnership that is going to be, helping raise money starting on National Pizza Day, February 9th, for Slice Out Hunger, which is a great organization run by, a friendly colleague, Scott Wiener, who's a pizza tour guide and really a pizza expert in New York City. And then most excitingly, they are going to be holding on September 5th the inaugural Colorado Pizza Festival, a large-scale international pizza competition in Longmont.
Did we didn't go to a pizza festival before? This was different? This is different.
A few years ago, that was smaller. That was like a women in pizza, sort of like a food truck meetup thing. I think they called it a festival.
But this
sounds bigger to me.
Okay.
This festival will include 20 plus pizzerias from across Colorado, as well as some local Longmont breweries, which are among the best. I love Wibby Brewing. Live music, amateur pizza competitions, something called the Pizza Olympics, kids activities, and honestly, hopefully me. I emailed them and I was like, how do I get involved?
I know. I was like, are you going to be the commissioner of the Pizza Olympics?
This sounds awesome.
Hey, if you know anything about Paul, he loves pizza and he's obsessed with the Olympics. That seems like just like a dream job for you, Paul.
I know. Could be big.
It could be
big for me.
My question is,
I hope other people are excited too. It's good news.
Do I need to BYO my own ranch if I go to this festival? That's the only way I eat pizza. I'll find out. I'll email him and ask him.
No one would be sad.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That's something bright, a little bright light. Who doesn't love pizza? Well, again, it's Tuesday. This is when we hear from you, our brilliant and hilarious listeners, about the things you care about. We love your comments, your questions, anything you have to say or want to know about episodes, past and present.
Well, good morning. My name is Hubble. I live on the very east end of Denver along Havana and Oak Park condos. I'm calling about the rental question. I think we need to change our assumptions. We have places in the world like Singapore that have 85% home ownership. How can we make it possible again for regular people to buy and own homes? Or was it ever possible? But I think we need to change the basic assumptions of the narrative. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, I think it's great when people can own homes. I'd like for that to happen too. Interesting. What did you think, Paul?
Yeah, one of the things that we didn't talk about last week with this conversation is one of the reasons why rents aren't dropping more, why there's still so much demand, is because the housing market is like still relatively inflated. Like the housing stock has not caught up in the same way that the apartment stock has caught up. And so the average home price is still, I think they were saying about $650,000. I'm talking about the Apartment Association of Metro Denver. Not that they're the authority on that, but that's still, that's out of reach for most Denverites, not every Denverite. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, I appreciate this Hubble's call for change, questioning our assumptions, is because I think a lot of people make assumptions when they talk about the rental market and who is the regular person, because these houses, like, people live in these houses in Denver. Like, Denver has really high paying jobs that people can afford to buy homes that cost $650,000.
Yeah.
This is not like, that's so expensive, that's just sitting empty out there somewhere for reasons that no one can comprehend. Like, the housing market is functioning. It's just out of reach for most people working jobs that, don't pay enough to
I know.
give you that kind of a down payment or however much whatever you'd have to do to get that house.
That's the picture in my mind right now. Is my brother's a postal worker, his wife is a nurse, and they can't afford it. My parents bought a house in 1974 here. My mother was a nurse. My father worked for Volunteers of America. And I guess that's who I have in my mind when I think about these conversations, is my family who's been trying to buy a house for 3 years. And they do good work. They're good people. They do jobs that don't pay enough. But we need those jobs. Like, I want my mail delivered. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a more complex. I agree with Hubble. It's a more complex conversation than sometimes we give it, because it's, we're looking at the numbers of right now and we aren't talking about the whole picture. So, yeah, that's a helpful comment. Interesting. Again,
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's just like I said, I have one situation in my mind when I'm thinking about this topic. Everybody has different situations in their mind. So there's just different ways to approach the conversation. And that was not that's who I'm thinking about.
That's why I think it's so important to start with the numbers themselves, like the big picture. When you're talking about a marketplace, like the rental market or the housing market, like, everyone's got an individual situation. I always want to look at the numbers.
Yeah.
What's the size of it? What are the trends? That's the important thing.
It's the difference between us, though, as I think about, that's just the approach I've always taken, is just like, what's the people experience? Like, what's the everyday experience that I've seen? So I don't always look at numbers. It doesn't mean they're both not important to think about, but it is like I said, it's just more complicated than sometimes we're able to articulate. So it's nice when commenters can share that with us, give us another perspective. You can always send us voice. We love voicemails. You can also text us 720-500-5418. The CityCast Denver hotline is always open. You can also email us, denver@citycast.fm, about any past episode. We love to hear from you to keep this conversation going and help us think about things in a different way. Well, Paul, thanks.
See you next time.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell a comedy fan to come out to our show on Friday night? Rate this show wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. And hey, thanks to our new neighbor, Annie E., who just joined our membership program. You can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See ya.